Let's discuss how post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, can take control. It is a complex condition that rewires how a person experiences life and their own reality. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not about personal weakness. It is a very real injury to the brain, caused by experiencing a deeply terrifying and life-altering event. Imagine your brain is an advanced security system designed to keep you safe. PTSD is what happens when this sophisticated system is damaged and begins to constantly malfunction. This system no longer protects you effectively. Instead, it starts to perceive grave danger everywhere, even in situations where there's absolutely no current threat to you. This process hijacks the brain's normal functions. It fundamentally changes your perception of the world, making reality itself feel broken, unstable, and incredibly frightening to navigate daily. To understand this hijacking, we must first examine a key part of your brain. This tiny, almond-shaped area is called the amygdala, your brain's dedicated alarm system. The amygdala's most important job is to constantly scan your surroundings for danger. When it senses a threat, it sounds an alarm, preparing your body to react. This powerful alarm immediately triggers the famous fight, flight, or freeze response. It is a primitive survival mechanism that is designed to keep you safe from harm. It floods your entire body with powerful stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These chemicals give you a sudden burst of energy and focus to face danger. In a healthy brain, this system works perfectly as intended. When the danger passes, another part of your brain tells the amygdala to turn the alarm off. But with PTSD, the amygdala's alarm switch becomes stuck in the on position. It stays active long after the traumatic event has ended and you are safe. Your brain and body are now trapped in a constant state of high alert. You are perpetually braced for a disaster that has already happened or may not happen. This overactive amygdala is the first step in the brain hijacking. It is the engine of anxiety and fear that powers many of the symptoms of PTSD. This constant state of alert is physically and mentally exhausting. It can make it nearly impossible for you to relax, feel safe, or let your guard down. Now let's talk about the brain's filing system for all memories. This crucial part, the hippocampus, helps you process experiences and learn from all of them. The hippocampus is like a librarian for your memories. It takes your experiences and carefully files them away with important context, like the time, place, and emotions. This careful filing system is what helps you know the difference between the past and the present. It stamps a memory with a "this happened then" label. When a person experiences an overwhelming trauma, the hippocampus can be flooded. The extreme stress and fear impair its ability to do its job of filing memories. The traumatic memory, therefore, doesn't get filed away as a normal story. It fails to receive that critical "this happened then" timestamp from the hippocampus. Instead, this memory stays stuck, completely unprocessed and raw. It exists as a vivid collection of sensory fragments, sounds, images, smells, and physical sensations from the trauma. These raw memory fragments are not stored like regular memories. They are stored in a way that makes them feel like they are happening right now. This failure of the memory filing system is the second critical part of the hijacking. It creates the foundation for the terrifying experience that we call flashbacks. The memory exists in a timeless, present-tense state within the brain. It is not a story from the past, but a set of warnings for the present. So, we have an overactive alarm and an unprocessed memory. Now we must look at the brain's thinking center, the part in charge of all rational thought. This vital area is the prefrontal cortex, located right behind your forehead. You can think of it as the brain's wise and calm chief executive officer. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for all logic, problem solving, and impulse control. It helps you make sense of the world and regulate all your emotional responses. In a non-traumatized brain, the prefrontal cortex works with the amygdala. It examines alarm signals and decides if the threat is real or a false alarm. It might say, "That loud noise was a car backfiring, not a gunshot. You can calm down." It provides the calm, rational, and logical voice of reason. But in PTSD, the relationship between these two parts is severely broken. The constant screaming from the amygdala can weaken and shut down the prefrontal cortex. The brain's CEO is essentially taken offline. The emotional, reactive alarm system is now running the show on its own, without any rational supervision to guide it. This is the third and final piece of the hijacking puzzle. The thinking brain is silenced, leaving the primitive survival brain to react to everything as a threat. With these three systems malfunctioning, the brain is perfectly primed for PTSD symptoms. The alarm is on, the memory is raw, and the thinking center is offline. Now, let's see how this hijacked brain fractures a person's reality. It begins with something we call a trigger, which reminds you of the original trauma. A trigger can be any sensory input, like a specific sound or a particular smell. A place, a person, or a feeling can also be a trigger. When you encounter a trigger, your overactive amygdala instantly sounds the alarm. It screams, "Danger. The bad thing is happening all over again right this second." Because the traumatic memory was never filed correctly by the hippocampus, there is no past label. The brain cannot distinguish that this is just a memory. And since the thinking prefrontal cortex is weakened, it cannot step in. It fails to say, "Wait, this is not real danger. You are safe now." The result of this complete system failure is a flashback. This is not like simply remembering something bad. It is much more intense and feels completely real. During a flashback, you are not just recalling the past event. Your brain and body are completely re-experiencing it as if it is happening for the first time. You may see the same images and hear the same sounds. Your body reacts with the same terror, and your heart races just as fast as it did then. This is how PTSD fractures reality. The past violently crashes into the present moment, erasing the line between what was then and what is happening right now. To the person experiencing it, the flashback is their current reality. The fear is real, the threat feels imminent, and the sense of safety is completely gone. This is not a choice or an act of imagination. It is a neurobiological event, a terrifying consequence of a brain that has been hijacked by past trauma. The constant threat of these flashbacks forces the brain into a state of hypervigilance. You are always on guard, scanning your environment for any potential signs of danger. You might become jumpy, easily startled by loud noises or sudden movements. Your nervous system is constantly preparing for a fight that is no longer actually there. Living this way makes the world feel like a constant battlefield instead of a home. Every corner could hide a new trigger, every person a potential threat. This constant fear often leads to avoidance. People with PTSD start to avoid places, people, or activities that might trigger a painful memory and a subsequent flashback. While this avoidance makes sense as a coping strategy, it can shrink a person's world. Life becomes smaller and smaller, limited by fear of the past re-emerging. The brain's attempt to protect you from pain can end up isolating you. This is another way that PTSD can begin to systematically fracture your connection to reality. But the fracturing of reality doesn't stop with just flashbacks. The brain has another coping mechanism for overwhelming stress, which is known as dissociation, a deep detachment. Dissociation is the mind's way of mentally escaping a situation that is too painful to endure. It is like your mind is hitting an emergency escape button. During a traumatic event, dissociation can be a lifesaver. It allows you to mentally check out from the horror, creating a buffer between you and the experience. However, in PTSD, this coping mechanism can also become stuck. Dissociation can start happening in everyday life, not just during moments of extreme stress or danger. This creates a different kind of reality fracture. You might feel disconnected from your own body, as if you are watching yourself from the outside in a movie. Or you may feel detached from the world around you. Things may look unreal, foggy, or distant, as if there is a glass wall between you and life. This experience is deeply unsettling and confusing. It can make you question your own sanity and your own existence, further blurring the lines of what is truly real. Time itself can become distorted by this process. You might have gaps in your memory, or feel like time is moving too quickly or too slowly. This is your brain trying to protect you from the constant high alert. But in doing so, it disconnects you from the grounding sensations of being in reality. Another form of this emotional detachment is often called numbing. You may find it incredibly difficult to feel any positive emotions, like happiness, love, or even joy. It's as if the brain, in an effort to turn down the volume on fear, has turned down the volume on every single one of your emotions as well. This emotional numbness can be just as damaging as the intense fear. It robs you of the good parts of life and makes it hard to connect. Relationships may suffer greatly because of this emotional numbing. It's difficult to feel close to someone when you feel disconnected from your own feelings and body. You may feel like an actor playing a part in your own life. You go through all the motions, but the genuine feeling and connection to reality isn't there. This combination of flashbacks and dissociation creates a fractured sense of self. You are caught between a terrifying past and a detached present, creating a constant internal battle. This constant internal battle is incredibly draining. It can lead to severe depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of hopelessness that things will never change for the better. The hijacked brain also deeply impacts basic functions, like sleep. Nightmares, often replays of the trauma, can make sleep a terrifying experience rather than a restful one. Fear of these nightmares can lead to severe insomnia. The body's state of high alert also makes it very difficult to quiet the mind enough to sleep. Lack of restful sleep further weakens the prefrontal cortex. This makes it even harder to manage emotions and think clearly, creating a vicious cycle of exhaustion and anxiety. Concentration and focus also suffer greatly. When your brain is constantly scanning for danger, there is very little mental energy left for tasks that require deep focus. This can affect work, school, and even simple daily chores. The brain is too busy with its primary, though misguided, job of trying to keep you safe. Irritability and anger are also very common symptoms. When you are living in a constant state of fear and exhaustion, your patience can wear incredibly thin over time. Small frustrations can feel like major threats to the hijacked brain. This can lead to outbursts that seem out of proportion to the situation for other people. This is not a character flaw. It is a direct result of a nervous system that is completely overloaded and unable to properly regulate its emotional responses. The hijacked brain reinterprets the world through a lens of danger. A crowded store is not just a place to shop. It is a place full of threats. A friendly gesture might be misinterpreted as a threat. The brain's ability to accurately read social cues and trust other people can become seriously and severely impaired. This is how PTSD systematically breaks down your sense of safety. The fundamental belief that you are safe in the world is shattered by the traumatic past event. Your brain is now working to confirm this new belief. It actively seeks out evidence of danger to justify its constant state of high alert and preparedness. This changes your entire worldview. The world is no longer seen as a mostly safe place with occasional dangers, but a dangerous place with rare moments of safety. This is the ultimate reality fracture. The trauma doesn't just change a memory. It changes the entire operating system through which you perceive and interact with life. You begin to live in the reality created by the trauma, not the objective reality of the present moment. The past is no longer in the past. It has become a living, breathing part of your present experience. It dictates your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviors, and your perceptions of the world around you. Let's quickly summarize the hijacking process. The amygdala alarm gets stuck on, creating a constant feeling of intense fear and a state of high physical alert. The hippocampus fails to file the trauma as a past event. This leaves a raw, unprocessed memory that feels like it is currently happening whenever it is triggered. The prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, gets overpowered. It cannot provide logic or calm the alarm, leaving the primitive survival brain entirely in charge of your actions. This internal chaos leads to flashbacks, which shatter the barrier between past and present. It also leads to dissociation, which shatters the connection to your own self. This entire process is a biological response to an unbearable experience. It is your brain's desperate, yet broken, attempt to try to protect you from any future harm. It is crucial to understand this is a brain injury. Shaming yourself or telling yourself to just get over it is like telling someone to fix a broken bone. The brain, like a bone, needs the right conditions and the right help to heal. It cannot simply will itself back to its original state of normal functioning. The good news is that brains are incredibly adaptable. This quality is called neuroplasticity, which is the brain's amazing ability to change and rewire itself over time. The connections that were damaged by trauma can be repaired. The hijacked systems can be brought back online and taught how to function in a healthy way again. This is where therapy and professional treatment come into play. Therapies for PTSD are specifically designed to help you rewire these exact brain circuits that were damaged. Therapies can help calm the overactive amygdala. They teach your brain that you are safe now, and that the alarm does not need to be on all the time. They also help the hippocampus to finally process the traumatic memory. They guide you in filing it away properly as a story from the past where it belongs. This process gives the memory a timestamp. It helps your brain understand that the event is over and is no longer a threat in the present moment. Treatment also helps strengthen the prefrontal cortex. It rebuilds the CEO's ability to regulate emotions, think clearly, and calm the false alarms from the amygdala. Healing from PTSD is a journey of slowly reclaiming your brain. It involves teaching your security system the very real difference between a past threat and present safety. It is about restitching the fractures in your reality. It is about learning to feel safe in your own skin and present in your own life again. Recovery means the past can become just a part of your story. It no longer has to be a terrifying reality that you are forced to relive every day. Remember, PTSD is what happened to you. It is not who you are. The hijacking is real, but it does not have to be a life sentence. With understanding, support, and the right kind of help, it is possible to quiet the alarms, mend the fractures, and reclaim your brain and your own reality.